Hey, everyone. Good afternoon to some of you. Good morning to others, depending on where you're joining us. We're going to give about another 30, 45 seconds as people are kind of popping in for their day. Really excited to be with you today. Shine the light on Meg and some of the amazing work that she's doing. This will be the first in a recurring series. I'll mention that a few times because, again, it'll be a recurring series and this will be recorded. It's being recorded now. So for those who are maybe watching it back right now because you weren't able to attend, hello to you too. Thank you for watching this back. And for those who are here with us today, you'll be able to go back and watch this. We'll get this probably out to you probably early to mid next week. So you have this kind of, you can save it as your record, some of these tips and tricks if you miss something in the meantime. Also, and I'll kind of kick us off here in a moment. I'll start sharing my screen, go through a few items. But then I will turn it over to Meg to highlight some of the great things that she is doing and some neat tips and tricks for today. If questions come up, please feel free to throw those into the chat. At some point throughout, when there's kind of a natural break, I will pass those along to Meg that we can answer. If it's something that's maybe really specific to a situation you have or a very school-specific question, we might not be able to get to that one just kind of because it might be depending on the specificity of it. But I will be sharing Meg's Calendly link if you have coaching with us that you can sign up for that coaching to kind of to do that question. And also, depending on what the question is, Meg will be able to respond to you in the next day or so, either via Slack or email or some combination of the two. So we will make sure that your question gets answered. So please feel free, don't be shy, fire away in the chat. As we kind of get going here, I'm going to share my screen. I would love it if everybody would, if you feel like you're able to in the chat, please go ahead and introduce yourself and where you are from. We'd love to just kind of, again, continue to grow this landing zone community. So if you feel willing, please just go ahead and put your name, maybe your role, and then what school or district you represent. And then with that being said, I'm going to share my screen. We are going to begin this awesome webinar that we have with Meg. Again, this is a recurring series. I'm really, really proud of the name. I got to give credit to Meg for that. Tech It Easy with LZ, a recurring series on data intelligence. So again, our plan is to have these roughly about every month. The topics will change. The topics will differ. We will be reaching out to our landing zone community to kind of see what topics are really pressing for you. So there always will be a new topic that we have related to this. But again, start marking your calendars. We'll be reaching out. This will be a recurring series from now throughout the end of the school year. And then we obviously would pick that back up next school year as well. So with that being said, Meg, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm trying to go as slow as I can. I am really fast when I explain things, so I'll try to keep it slow. Thank you for responding to the survey on which webinar you would be interested in on the Slack community. We heard you and we want to encourage you to keep submitting ideas on what you would like to see in the upcoming webinars. The topic that we're going to cover today is role level security. We saw that this was like the most popular one out of the 5 that I had, put in the survey. So role level security, I'm going to cover what it means for in BigQuery and what it means as in Looker Studio. So there are multiple ways to control access to data in a database in BigQuery. It can be at project level, it can be at data set level, it could be at table level, column level, but the most granular data control access is at row level, where you can provide permissions to users or groups of users at a row level in the table. Certain rows can be given access to for a particular user and such. So let me show you how this works. Josh, I'm going to just share my screen from here. So let me see. Okay, can you see my screen, Josh? So
Perfect, Meg, perfect.
Okay, I'm going to take an example from a starter pack. Let's look at the staff table. When you're in the staff table and you're in the schema tab, you can see at the bottom something called view row access policies. And this is where you would be able to view any policies that exist on this table. If you click on it, it should show you a list of like different policies that might be on the table. Right now, we don't have any on this. So it says limit access for a group of users to a subset of table rows. To add, edit, or remove row access policies, use DDL statements. So DDL stands for data definition language. And what it is it's a language that is used to create objects in databases. So I'm going to show you, for example, how I'm going to use this is a different account. I'm going to use my own account to give access policies to myself and see how it looks like. So right now I'm in like the staff table on my account. And when I run this on the staff table, I'm able to see all the department names and all the different institutes. So I have 3 institutes: Park Academy, Lincoln Academy, Webster Academy, and I'm able to see like 5 subjects for each of them. Now let's go and try to see how to set a row access policy. So this first chunk of code here, it says create row access policy teacher 1. So the name of the policy that we're creating is teacher 1 on the table staff, and then grant it to user Meghna at innovateedu.org. Filter using department name English. So what this code will do is let Meghna see the data that is only relevant to the Department of English. Filter using is similar to like the where function that we write in SQL queries. If I go and look at my staff table here, give me a second, I need to refresh this. Sorry. So I should be able to see if I have, I'm supposed to be able to see a preview, and I'm looking at that. I have no idea why it's not showing me a preview, but yeah. So once I run this piece of code, it says this statement created a new row access policy named teacher 1 on table staff. When I go back to staff now and view row access policies, I can see this listed over here. Now let's go see what the query looks like here. So now I can see the distinct name of institution. I'm just going to see like the department name as well. Department name. So it says your query results may be limited because you do not have access to certain rows. So I now can see only for English department for all 3 of these institutes. So this is row level access policy for the Department of English. Now we can club multiple row level access policies. For example, we could say, Meghna should be able to see only English department and Park Academy for the institution of Park Academy. So let's run this now. And then when I run this, go back here and see what I'm able to see. I can see only English and Park Academy. So that what I was trying to show here is when I do a preview, I should not be able to see. I'm not sure why it's not refreshed yet, but if there is a row access policy, the user won't be able to see a preview because BigQuery does not allow you to, you see a preview for just your limited rows. So that is how this works. This also can be used on dashboards. For example, this row access policy translates to dashboards. Like this is what like the person who created the dashboard can see. I can see all the subjects here, and then I can see all the institutes here. But if like Meghna was supposed to use this dashboard, and I'll just refresh this. So I would be only able to see English or Park Academy related like charts and graphs. So this is like one way to use data security on our dashboards. But the difference between this and the next topic that I'm going to cover, which is row level security, is that the data can be given to the user to kind of like query and make the dashboards by themselves. So the access is at the data level, not at the dashboard level. So that is how this works. So next we can, let me try to cover what row level security in Looker dashboard means. So basically what it means is that if a user logs in using their email address, they should be able to see only data that or charts that are related to their email address, which is linked or associated to their email address. For example, here you see this table with name, email, favorite food, and favorite number. So if there's no email filter, everyone can see all the rows, all the rows and the data. Example one is if like Rick at mycompany.com logs in, he'll be able to see only data related to Rick, sushi, and the favorite number 42. Example two is if Daisy logs in. Daisy has been given the access to view Michelle's information. So Michelle pasta and 53 is what she should be able to see. And then, for example, if Bob logs in, he should be able to see nothing because he is not a part of this access list. And so this is how it works. I'll show you how to enable it in Looker Studio. So what you need to do is, for example, let's for now take student demographics table, which is a starter pack table. It has the field email. So we can use this field to filter so that if like a student logs in and then they look at their own details in this table, they should see only their own demographics related to that row. Like this is how the data looks. Like for example, this person would be able to only see like the data related to this row. What is their special education status? What is their ELL status, gender, and so on. So how do we enable this? Is like you go to resources. There's two ways. I'll show you both the ways. The first way is go to manage added data sources, add a data source, go to BigQuery because our table is there, go to custom query, select the project where your table is sitting, and then what you do is copy the name of this table. Okay, and then what you need to do is write a select statement, select star from, and then you need to enable viewer email address parameter. So what it says is it gives us a parameter that is DS user email. So you can copy this, and then you need to write a where function and pass in this parameter the email field. So what it says is if the person logging in has a particular email, let them see that data, and then you can click on add. So this is how you would add. I'll demonstrate the different effects of different emails in a bit. The other way to add this is, let me go ahead and remove this and show you another way to add it. You can go to add a data source, simply click on BigQuery, select the project, select the data set, starter pack, then let's select student demographics and enrollment, and then say add. And once this is done, it'll kick you out of the window for, and then you need to go back in. When you go into manage added data sources, and then you see student demographics here, just click on edit. And there's an option here called filter by email. So you can click on filter by email and enable this. And it says select the email field. If your data contains email addresses, you can filter this data source to show only data matching the currently signed in user's email address. So when I go here, I can choose email and then say done. So this basically does the same thing that I did using the custom query earlier on. Okay, so the example that I gave right now is a 1:1 relationship. It's when one student should be able to view the data in the row that is assigned to them. So it's just 1:1. Now, what about like if there's another example where like teachers want to see, there's multiple teachers for 5th grade and all of them should be able to see the data for 5th grade students and their grades. or like their enrollments. And then the principal should be obviously able to see all of the schools, all the grades, all the students' data. So it's like multiple addresses on multiple rows. So it's many to many relationship. How do we do that? The first step is to create something called an access control list. What access control list is, basically it's a document or like a table. It's a table that like holds all your roles and permissions, user permissions. Here I've listed like roles, like for teachers, principal, and then what are their email IDs, and let's say what their courses that they need to be able to see, and the school name. So this one, these two columns can be identified as foreign keys. I'm going to try to provide access control on the course enrollments table. My dashboard is going to use course enrollments table. So I need to see which fields in the course enrollment table I can restrict the rows at. So like, for example, teacher 3 should be able to see math and science for Webster, math for Webster, and science for Park Academy. Teacher 2 should see math and social sciences for Lincoln and Webster respectively, and so on. So here I have like a simple dashboard that I created. I have like all the subjects here, all the schools that can be seen here, and like all the students in a table format over here. The way I would like go about using this access control list along with my course enrollment is, first I'd go to resources. I would add in my course enrollments table from BigQuery. That is like pretty straightforward. You just go to add a data source, go to BigQuery, select the project, select the data set, and then go ahead and select course enrollments from here, and then just add it. So the second thing that I need to add to my resource to my sources is the access control list sheet. So that's the one I just showed you. You just need to add that in here. And the next step is to create a blend. So you need to blend this with the course enrollments table so that it knows what users should get what accesses. So I've created a blend here that I'll show you. I have the access control list here. The fields that I have is role, email, course, and school name. And this is my course enrollments table where I have academic subjects. I have like the course code that I used in the access control list, name of institution, and first name and other details. So I'm going to join these both based off of course code and course code. Like I've named it as course, but it's actually the code. So it matches with the course code and course enrollment and school name and name of institution. So once that is done, what it says is this person's email will be linked to only certain things from this. The course that is linked to this email will only pull up courses from this table associated with that. So now let's, the way to enable this filter by address thing is go to resources again, click on access control list, edit. Like I showed you, go to filter by email and say filter data by viewer email. Select email field, which is email. It also says report viewers must consent to letting this data source access this email address. What that means is when somebody who is the user of the dashboard that I'm making, when they log in for the first time, it will say this, grant consent. This report wants to use your information to personalize what you see. Information requested, your email address. Select allow will grant access for all data sources on this report. So you just need to say allow. And then it just shows you the data that's relevant to you. Let's go compare that here. And now as the person who's made the dashboard, I won't be able to see any of it because I've not added myself in this list. So if you want, you can add it, or whenever you want to basically edit the dashboard or make some changes, you just need to go back here and then unselect the filter by email, and you will be able to basically see all the details again. So you can do that when you have to edit the dashboard or make some changes. So I'm going to put that back in here and we'll go and compare the different things. So when we are here, teacher 3 should be able to see math and science for Webster and Park Academy. So here we are on teacher 3, math and science, Webster and Park Academy. These are what they can see. Teacher 2 should be able to see math and social science for Lincoln and Webster, So this is teacher 2, math and social science for Webster and Lincoln. So it's the same dashboard, but different users can see only stuff that is relevant to them. Now, teacher 1 is associated with ELA and PE, but like for just like trying out, I was like, what if I don't put like a school name here? Will it show me like the PE information for like all the different institutes? And then when I went to that one, so this is teacher 1, and I am able to see basically, sorry, I need to refresh this. Yeah, so I'm able to see ELA, but I'm not able to see any information. So if you do not provide a foreign key in the blend, the foreign keys that are connected, if you don't provide that for some roles, then that thing is just automatically going to assume that you made a mistake and not going to allow the person to see that information if it's not like filled in. So that is the next one. Now let's see, principal ABC should be able to see like all the subjects for Webster Academy. And here I have principal ABC, and then principal can see all of the subjects along with the school which is associated, that's Webster Academy. So this is how you would control access to different users, in different to different data in your dashboard. So you can always have this access control in Google Sheets, and then you can always upload it to BigQuery and have it like as a constant there. It would be a static import. You would have to make changes to this whenever you need to change roles and permissions. You would also be able to join other tables. For example, right now I've just joined access control list with the course enrollments table, but in case you're using course enrollments with average daily attendance, you should be able to use a blend with all the three, and find the foreign keys that basically apply to each of the roles, the users. So that is role level security for everyone. I think that's all I have for this topic today. I'll be sharing resources as part of the deck that will be shared with you at the end of the webinar. So please feel free to go and read through the resources that I'm providing. I've also given like syntax that I used in the demo, so that's going to be on there too. So does anyone have any questions that I'll be able to answer in this webinar? If it's very specific, please feel free to book a session with me. Josh, I think already has, he will send you the Calendly link.
Yeah, that was great, Meg. Yes, you see Meg's Calendly link is in the chat. So if you'd like to book another session with her, you can. If you have a specific question or just want to expand upon what you learned today and saw today. As you can see, Meg is extremely talented and knowledgeable and puts a lot of care and effort into these sorts of hurdles that may come up. She's a huge help, such a great asset to our team. So we'd love to connect you with her if you have any questions similar to this. Remember, if some of this you're thinking, oh gosh, I really like this, I want to see it again. Remember, you're going to receive a recording of this webinar in the next few days. You'll receive that slide deck that I showed briefly that will give you all of those resources that you need. If things come up afterward, as always, feel free to reach out to either Meg or myself. We're always here to help and to listen. I also threw into the chat, we have another webinar next week that we're really, really excited about. We had a question that's come in here, Meg, so I'll read that to you here in a moment. It's about ChatGPT. It's a conversation with Gillian Diebold. So that registration link is in the chat. Please feel free as well to spread that to anybody and everybody in your network. It does not need to be a partner of Landing Zone. We would love to have a lot of people there. It's going to be a really, really great conversation. We know ChatGPT and kind of that data for social good and the things that are happening is kind of taking over the world of education right now, and a lot of things are happening. So it's going to be a great opportunity to talk with an expert in that field to kind of offer her perspective and what she is seeing. So please feel free again to spread that link around. And Meg, we did have a question that came in. The question was, so the email does not need to show on the report for it to be able to roll permissions.
So Elizabeth, do you mean that the email doesn't have to be a part of the data table? Then yes, it doesn't have to be a part of the data table. It can be a separate control access list that you make, but you need to join it using the foreign keys in the table that you want to show in the dashboard so that like the row level restrictions kick in. I hope that answers you. Thank you.
I said, kind of any other questions, please feel free to fire away. We will hang on here as we're doing that. I'm just going to show you. We also have a really great events page on our website you might not be familiar with. We have a really, really talented marketing communications team. And so you can always just go to our landingzone.org/events. I'll put that in the chat here in a moment. And you can check out to see what's upcoming. So you can see there's that one I referenced for next week. It's going to house our recorded webinars. We're going to have a library that you always can go back if you miss anything. So it's a really great resource that's just, again, free and available to you. So you can always check that out. I'm going to throw that into the chat right now. So if you ever want to see what's going on, please spread that around. Kind of final call here. We will let you go. Again, this is going to happen about every month. We're going to have about 15 to 20, 25 minutes together. Meg's going to show you some neat tips and tricks that we're hearing from you all as the partners, but also maybe some other just really neat, nifty things that she has up her sleeve that maybe she hasn't shared with anybody yet. So again, thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to join us. We really, really appreciate your partnership and the collaboration that we have with all of you. Hope you have a great rest of the week. Nice weekend. Nice Valentine's next week, if that's something that you celebrate. I know I'm excited with my wife and my daughter especially. But thank y'all so much. Look forward to seeing you next week at our next webinar. And please reach out to Meg if you have any further questions. We thank y'all so much. Have a great rest of your week and stay safe and healthy. Bye, everyone.